Hey Tane from Explode Creative here. We're about to draw Natalie Portman, and she's a bit of a challenge. Because I find that people who have really pretty faces sometimes have less distinguishing features that you can really pick on. But if you sort of develop your side a bit more, you can find small things to kind of play up on. The first thing you want to do when you're in a position where you're not too sure what to exaggerate is just to find out what shape the head is. And it looks, in this case, it looks kind of like it bows out in the sides. Yeah, so it's sort of, jaw comes in a little bit. So let's try playing up on that. It's always good to start with a really simple head shape. Some things I noticed about Natalie Portman, she's got quite a developed jaw, so I'll be playing that up. She's got some cheeky cheeks. Her top lip in particular is a little bit almost bigger than her bottom lip, and you don't see this too often, so I think it might be worth making the top lip a bit bigger than the bottom lip in the final cartoon, just to play it up a little. She's got a fairly straight nose, so not much to see there, I guess. Her eyebrows are very straight. One of them seems to kind of straight horizontal, one of them sort of bends up a little, so that's worth looking at. Okay, so I've got a head shape here and that's really simple. So I might start off by placing the eyebrows where I'd like them. I'm going to keep them a fair bit of a distance from the forehead. Always remember those first 5 seconds you see your face. You see sort of everything. You get that flash of perception. It's about capturing those impressions in a net and then remembering while you're drawing. So for me, I'm going to start off with the features of Natalie that I know I can probably capture, and what we mentioned before with the eyebrows, the mouth, and the jaw. So I'm going to do a bit of the mouth here. I always choose a thinner stroke width for the top lip. Okay. There's a little bit of skin that bends in here under the eyebrow and then connects to the cheek again. Just like that. Let's deal with a bit of the neck. Keep it really thin for females. Just an easy way to flatter. Let's pick out some clothes from the bottom left image. She's actually got quite a long neck, so it might be worth sort of working that in. Cap it off with some clothes. So we've got, might just thin the neck a little bit more. Let's start off with the hair. She's got a bit of a swipe that happens there. I guess it's one of her trademarks. We'll just do the flow of the hair. I'm just addressing this from the perspective of, say, someone I'd seen in the public, because I'm not too, like, say if I didn't want to offend them too much, because I'm not extremely familiar with Natalie Portman, and so this one's going to be a bit more conservative. And we'll just finish off the outer flow of the hair there. Let's try the nose a little. It's just a straight nose, a little of a button edge. It's a quite small, it's a dainty nose, and the nostrils don't really poke out from the nose. From the nose, they're quite close to the nose. build in some cheeks. Let's just get into some eyes, I think. The eyes on her face, they're not... They kind of tilt upwards a little bit from the inner to the outer. So we might kind of build that in a little. I might make the eyes quite big and see how we go with that. It sort of flatters people when you make their eyes a little bit bigger, at least for the females. Okay. Yeah. Draw the eyeballs. Her eyes are quite big. I mean, to me when you look at her eyes, they're kind of quite large in the sockets. There's not too much white space around them, or underneath them at least. You can kind of, they're big and dark, you kind of get lost in them, so I'm gonna play that up a little bit. It'll do for now, I think. Let's work with the eyebrows a little bit. I think they need a bit of attention. I do want those to be noticeable parts of the face. They are a big part of Natalie Portman. So, one of the eyebrows seems to come across quite straight horizontally, and then the other eyebrow sort of twigs upwards. Stage right. So, I'll probably build that in later on. Straighten that side of the face. This is why it's good to start off with a really simple head shape, because you can always come back and tweak it if you're doing digital, of course. Building those cheeks. Yeah, what have we got here? Gonna bring some hair down a little. What if we pull the eyes down a little bit? I'm not sure about these eyes. I kind of... Yeah, I'm not really feeling those. I might sort of redo them. I'm not sure it's in keeping with her look. And I can tell... Yeah. I'm not quite at the stage yet when I can just make a feature that looks good on everyone. I like drawing customized features on every subject. I don't really have any cookie cutter techniques for people. What I really like to do is capture as much likeness as I can while keeping it sort of interesting and cartoony. So forgive me when I go back and sort of fix things up. It's all about trying to get that extra bit of likeness. Alright. I think the biggest thing about her, one of the biggest things are the dimples around the sides of her mouth. She's got pretty cool dimples. If I just move these eyes just under the eyebrow, it might, because on her images, she's got a fair bit of shadow under her eyebrows, and it kind of makes it look like her eyes are closer to the eyebrows. So I might work with these eyebrows a little bit more, give them that sort of Portman edge. Straighten one up, curve the other a little bit. Okay, that's getting there. I want to kind of soften this cheek a little. And I could follow all those bumps in the face, but it's going to make it look a bit like a transvestite. And I'm not sure... I don't think she's a transvestite in real life, so... to my knowledge. Okay. Yeah, just fixing up the head shape here. Always in keeping with the original head shape, it bent it out at the sides, remember? It's nice to keep, when you're doing females, it's nice to keep their features kind of soft edged. It sort of adds femininity. With the hard edged stuff, you leave that for the males. I'm probably gonna switch up the eyes a little bit more. Start again with that side. I would really like this to be pretty bang on Natalie Portman. And you can, I'm just checking the head shape. Sometimes the eyes can throw you off a little. And you just be mucking around the eyes a little bit, but then it's actually like something else like the head shape that's really kind of pulling it away from the likeness. So when you delete something off the image and it looks more like the person, you know it's time to kind of fix that feature up. And grab the smooth tool and just smooth out the sides of the face. Simpler it is, more feminine it is. Okay. Probably do the eyebrows here. Thicken them up, of course. One eyebrow straight, almost horizontal. The other was, I think we were going to curve it up a little bit. I might even pull it off the face a little bit. In a sec. Get that nice little divot there, that always looks cool. In the cheek. Keeping some chin in. Not that her chin really juts out on those images, but starting on the eyes again, I think. I think we're a little bit closer to, she's got a bit of upper eyelids, so I'll play that in. The bottom eyelids are a little dark, so I will draw those in. Sometimes you just don't if they're not dark enough. Okay. And of course, there being no sort of white space below her eyes, her pupils, I'll just kind of put that in. There we go. Okay, what's next? Let's take that eyebrow out of the head a little bit, or make it a bit more comical. She's got that kind of quizzical look that, you know, it's worth calling a bit of attention to that. Alright. Bit of a eyelash. Worth doing if you want to flatter. Yeah, looks good. I think we've caught a bit more of Natalie's likeness with those eyes. A little bit smaller, I think it worked out a bit better. Keeping that nose nice and long. I wonder if the mouth needs a bit of shortening horizontally. It seems kind of smaller in her face. We might allow a bit more jaw to show around the sides. By making the mouth smaller, we're making the jaw larger, which for her seems to be worth doing. Alright, just a few fix-ups. Just get that chin in a little bit. Some cheeky cheeks, not too much, otherwise it can get a little bit wrinkly. Sometimes it's a matter of testing. That's the trick with the female face, is as little detail as possible is best. Sometimes, you know, you can't help it. Especially if she's got some big cheeks like this. Alright. Play up the forehead a bit. Keeping in mind that kind of bend it inwards. Remembering the original head shape. Move the neck over a little bit, I guess. Add that chin back in. I think it's a bit of a... Not that it really bumps out of her face in real life too much, but if you can call attention to it by kind of making a bump out in this. Because, you know, she's got a cute chin. So let's make it happen. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of a dot. I'm not sure, that's probably part of a trademark, I'll just add that in there. Drag, might grab some small little lines, do some small eyelashes down the bottom, lower eyelid, just to add some shadow to it. Yeah, some little fix-ups on the side of the hair. Wait. Alright. I think I'm happy enough with that to proceed with the colouring. But what I might do before I do that is I'd like to add some really thin, some kind of wiggly flow lines for the hair. Sometimes it makes it look pretty cool. Especially if you just leave it as a black and white caricature. Those thin lines add some real class. Gives it a bit of energy, give it a bit of a flow. We might override that in the colouring, but you know, whatever, it's fun to do. If you have time to do it. Okay, bit of a real quick colouring here. Start off with the skin of the face, leaving a bit of an edge around the sides. Act as kind of a key light. Always takes some tweaking. Let's put in some lipstick before I forget. I always forget about the lipstick. Okay, nice. That looks, it's pretty much the perfect colour for her lips, so I'll leave it like that. Just fix up the edge a little bit. I'm a bit OCD with that sort of thing. Alright, that's cool. I'll put in some little reflections on the lips. Alright, now for the eye whites, I suppose. And this is all on a layer underneath the original black and white artwork, so I don't have to keep sending back and forward. You could do the paint fill or whatever it is, live paint tool, but I never close my lines, so I don't have to go back and close all the lines. Alright, that looks alright. I'd really like to play up those dimples in the mouth, call more attention to them. It's a real big part of her look. Now notice it's very indistinct. There's an aspect of her lips following that line, it kind of, you can see that it zigzags. So that's worth calling attention to that. in the cartoon. Just adjusting everything to suit. Alright. Cool. Start off with some hair color. And this will be requiring a little bit of tweaking, as always. Alright. Fix up some of the edges before we proceed. A little bit of tiny tweaks here, just bear with me. Don't always have the luxury to do this when you're doing live stuff and you're running out of time. How about some cheek flush? Those cheeky cheeks. Chucking it down to a fairly low opacity, so it's not too red. Wondering if it's better in that kind of shape. I'm not sure. Always worth a test. I might just actually just simplify it to just a normal circle. Instead of, I think some shapes on the face, you can make them too complicated. It takes away from the cartooniness. Okay. Alright. Okay. I think we're ready to proceed. Might just finish it off with some reflections. Taking note of where the shine is on her face. Always cool. Always adds a bit more dimension to the image. Alright, looks good. Finish off the hair a little thing. Wonder if we have time for some hair coloring. Oh. Okay. 24 minutes. Wow. Better wrap this up. Let's do some underlays of the hair. Give it some awesomeness. Get the same swatch of hair color, just mix some black into it. Just following the flow of the hair. I just made sure it didn't clash with the eyebrow there. I do want that to be a fairly noticeable part of the face still. And I'm taking note of where the dark areas of her hair are. Not just sort of no guesswork here, really. Okay. I really like to do these shadowy bits because it really adds, I don't know, a really cool look to it. Don't always have time for this, but it's nice to pretty up the whole look. It's kind of like a comic shading, like a cell shading. Always following the flow of their hair, adding a little useless sort of swipes in there. I'm not really a pro at lighting, I'm just kind of following how it looks on her head. Okay, I think we're done here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Be sure to add some comments in. Tell me what you want to draw next. You can see me on twitch.com/explodecreative for live streams. Go facebook.com/givecaricatures for follow that for some free stuff and cool stuff. Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you later.